Hello. Probably a bit of a surprise to see me on YouTube. I don't really use my YouTube channel, it's just there. People seem to subscribe to it. I don't advertise it on TikTok, but I have one. So the video I'm making today is very important to me. I want people to know a bit about the real me and my life, because in case you haven't gathered already, because a lot of people fucking haven't, TikTok Ross the gossip, I'm not like him in real life. I'm actually quite nice. So in this video I'm going to be talking about what made me want to start TikTok and what I've been through in the last year and why it's done me the world of good, really. So I'll just start with a little bit about myself for those of you who only know me from TikTok and don't really know about my life. My name's Ross and this is weird. I'm 21 and I'm from Dorset, which is in England, so it's down on like the south coast. It's quite a pretty area where I live. I'm very lucky. Interesting fact about me, I've got one kidney. Yes, I've only got one. And I'm a triplet, so I reckon one of my brother and sisters, they've probably got my other kidney somewhere hiding in them. Also, I'm very short. I am very, very small. I think I'm like 5'4" or something ridiculous like that, but yeah, it's not good. If you met me in real life, I'd make time. I make time for people. People do come up to me when I'm in public, and I do make time for them because I'm not a horrible cunt like in my TikTok. I'm a nice person with a heart. So let's make a start on what I really went through. The full, real, true story on what actually happened with me in regards to my ex-boyfriend. In some respect, I'm kind of thankful because I feel like if it didn't happen, then I wouldn't be on TikTok. I'd probably just be depressed. Building this character and putting my anger into something has definitely done me the world of good. So we need to go back about a year and a half ago now. So I was not 20. I was 20 years old. I was a bit of a wild child. Like, I was going out all the time, seeing my friends, living my best life basically. And yeah, I think it must have been January, and well, here we go. There's a famous train and it's called the Flying Scotsman. It's a steam engine. It's quite pretty. It breaks down all the time. And it travels around the country and beyond and all the rest of it. If you haven't heard of it, then I guarantee you your parents would have heard of it. Anyhow, I actually live very close to a railway, and this train happened to be doing like this tour, and it came down to my town basically. Obviously it was like this massive deal because it's the most famous steam engine in the whole world or something. Anyhow, with the train came my ex-boyfriend, because he drives it basically. And to cut like a very long story short, while the train was down here, I was seeing him like every day, and we sort of ended up in a relationship somehow. I'm not gonna lie, it was the happiest time of my life. I've never been so happy. Well, I think so anyway. I loved the boy more than anything. He lived up north, so I used to travel up there like once a week, but I don't regret it. You know, it might have not been real for him, like real love, but it certainly was for me. Like, it definitely was. I don't think there was a proper moment where I was truly upset. I did feel loved the whole way through. I felt happy for the whole time, near enough the whole time, only until the end did things start to go downhill. And I mean, the story I'm going to tell you is fucking horrific. So it was the day before my 21st birthday, and I had gone up north because my ex-boyfriend was taking me away. He was taking me on holiday because it was my birthday. I just remember I was in bed with Jack, and his Snapchat was going off like all night long, and I just found it so weird because if I remember correctly, I think he'd put his phone at the end of the bed, and I was like, well, that's really weird. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure he did. He put it somewhere. Something unusual was going on. I didn't really think anything of it. I should have done, but I didn't. So yeah, we got in the car the next morning. He was driving, and we were heading down to like Heathrow Airport in London. He was taking me away to Iceland, so that really cold shit place. Yay. Before I got in the car, I'd asked if I could put my music on, and he straight up was like, no, you can't. And I was like, oh, okay, because he never normally says that. I just found it really weird. So anyway, I picked up his phone, and I went to send a Snapchat to one of our mutual friends, Like when I picked it up, he was like looking at me and I thought, okay, this is so fucked up. Like what the hell is going on? I have to be honest, I would never normally just pick up his phone. But part of the reason that made me do it is because I wanted to see who he was chatting to. So after I sent the Snapchat to our mutual friend, I saw that he had this best friend of so many days, but I didn't get the name because he literally like snatched the fucking phone off me. And then he took the phone away. Obviously the phone was plugged in because his music was on, and he was like, right, put your music on now. I was like, what? I said, I thought you didn't want my music on. He was like, no, I want your music on now. I was like, right, okay. So anyway, his phone pings and I used the excuse of replying to one of our mutual friends as a reason to grab the phone back off him, by which time I've got the name of the person and my heart just dropped. He took the phone again off me, surprise, surprise. He knew that I'd seen something that he didn't want me to see. He could tell. I was just sat back in my seat, like wondering what the fuck was going on. Literally the second after that, he was all over me. Like he was giving me all the love that I'd ever wanted. And I didn't know whether to be happy or sad. Like that was making me feel happy, but at the same time, like my heart was sort of breaking and wondering what the fuck was happening. So I tried to stay calm. I made a note of this name that I'd found on my phone. So we arrived at the airport and I went into the toilets literally to look up this person. I recognised the name. I was certain that I recognised it. I just remember being like sat on the loo looking up this Andrew guy, and when I saw it, I was like, my heart dropped because I recognised him. So I thought, fuck it, right, this is it. I've got to ask him what the hell's going on. And I don't know why, I'm not normally very confident, but all this adrenaline literally rushed to my head. I thought, he's not going to get away with this. I feel so angry and so powerful right now. I honestly just wanted to know what the fuck was going on. Even now, it's like hard for me to talk about because it was such a intense feeling that I had. So we boarded the bus on the way to the terminal in order to board the plane. I thought, right, this is it. So we walked to the back of the bus, and the moment we go to sit down, I look at him and I say, how do you know Andrew? I won't say his surname, but I said, how do you know Andrew? Oh, and he fucking shat himself. Like, he did. His exact words were, Instagram, I think. That was his words. So I sat there and I said, are you cheating on me? By which time the bus was like moving around the Heathrow airport. And he literally looked at me and said, right, should we just go home now? And he had a fat off go at me, like a fat off go at me. It was like, how dare you say that? Like, you should trust me. Do you trust me? You're going to break us if you keep doing this. And I just sat there like, it's really weird because we were still like holding hands. It was like I was holding his hand and I was like gripping it. It was like I was still gripping onto something. I don't know. And I remember his phone pinged. And I said, do you want to get that? And he looked at me and he said, what? And I said, do you want to get that? It might be him. And he was like, who? And I was like, Andrew, go on, get it. Did feel quite sassy at that point. So we got to the terminal and he started walking like really far ahead of me. He was clearly very angry with me for bringing this up. And I followed on after him. And I literally stopped and I just burst into tears. I was crying my eyes out. I was like, I said to him, I just want to know what he wants with you. And he literally told me that they were just friends and that they'd never done anything together. They didn't have any history. And I was like, right, okay. It's just strange how I've never fucking heard about him before. He literally forced me to trust him. He said, you've got to trust me now. You've got to. And I was not in a position to lose him because he was my only happiness, which is really bad for me to say, but he was. So I forced myself to trust. And there's a photo on my Instagram. It's me and him on the plane. And I'm just there like smiling. This is literally straight after I've just had a massive breakdown in the terminal and I'm smiling on this plane. But if you look at my eyes, you can see I've been crying. Like there's teardrops in my eyes and everything. It's awful. So I tried to bring it up again when we were in Iceland. We went whale watching on this boat. The moment I tried to bring it up, he passed out because he was seasick. So I never got an answer. In the meantime, while I was on holiday in Iceland, my sister was doing some digging. I'd given her all the information on what I'd seen on his phone, and she was like doing some proper digging as sisters do. Obviously at that point I didn't have clear solid evidence of what was actually happening, so this whole holiday I was just wondering what the fuck was going on. Honestly, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, just trying to force myself to be happy for my birthday. So cutting a long story short, we arrived back in England. I went home. About a week later, I went up to Peterborough, which is where he was working. I was quite good like that, so wherever he'd work, I'd sort of drive around on my days off. So I did do a lot of driving, travelling here, there and everywhere for him. Wherever that train sort of went, I'd sort of follow around. And I just remember being in Peterborough and my sister sent through all the evidence. She literally had everything that I needed to see, like confirmation that he was cheating on me. And my heart just dropped. So I now knew that I wasn't able to bring this up with him again because he would literally tell me to stop because it was going to break us. And do you know how hard it is to just be silenced about something? It's the hardest thing ever. And it was embarrassing as well because he used to tell his family that I was kicking up a fuss. I think that's the word that he used. I think it was, I don't know, something on those lines. And it was so embarrassing because it made me seem like I was doing something wrong. So I was like, right, well, that's it now. I can't say anything. I've got to be silent now. And it used to burn me inside. I just wanted to ask him what the hell was happening and I couldn't, and it was killing me. It was killing my head. I just remember being stood in this field at Nene Valley Railway with him, and it was pouring down with rain, and my mouth and my throat was just so dry. Like, you know when you're trying to hold back from crying and your eyes are like watering? That was me. And he was just there staring at me in the pouring rain, and he was like, "You're overworked," telling me that I was overworked and that I'm tired. And he said, "You look so tired, like, come on, you need to do less hours at work." And there I was agreeing that I was overworked and tired, even though I was none of the above. Like, if I was not overworked or tired, I was tired of his fucking shit. I was just so heartbroken at that moment that I'd found out he was cheating on me and I couldn't bring it up. Because I was not ready to lose him. But he was literally there having a go at me, telling me that I was overworked while my heart was literally being torn into 1,000 pieces. But anyway, I drove home and agreed to have some rest, even though I didn't need any rest. I just remember pulling over at a service station and just having another breakdown, crying my eyes out on the M25, listening to Britney. So I think that evening I got all my friends together, which was really nice, and my sister, and we all went to the pub. It must have been about 9 o'clock at night, and at that point I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. They were all telling me that I needed to get rid of him, like he was killing me. They were all just there, and it was hurting me having so many people telling me that when I didn't want to. And they all just like, "You need to do it, Ross, you need to do it." So all the evidence was shared that we had, and they discussed it for me. I couldn't do it. It was too much. I just went and got a couple of gin and tonics. I needed a gin and tonic. So we got home and I needed to be by myself. I went into the living room. I think my sister went into another room, and I just sort of sat in the living room for a minute. I thought, right, I'm gonna message him. I'll let him know I'm home. So I said to him, "I'm home now." I think he told me he just finished work or something, and I said, "I'm going to bed now. I love you loads." I was not ready to do what I was meant to do. So he replied saying, "I love you too," and like with a few kisses or whatever it was. And I just sat there and I thought no. So I sent a message. I said, "Wait," and he put "what?" And I typed out a message. It was a short message. I said, "I know what you've been up to. I've got all the evidence. I can't be with you anymore. I will always love you, but I just can't be with you." And he never ever replied, which means I've never ever had any closure. So I've spent all this time trying to find out what the hell really happened to me. I want to know what happened to me. I want to know the full extent, and I've found out near enough everything that I need to know now. And I think that's one of the reasons why I found it really hard to get over, because my heart was literally ripped out of my chest and flung under the Flying Scotsman. I never got any closure. I never got anything. I've had to work it all out by myself. And I have had so many people contact me, so many people saying, "This is what happened," and it all adds up now, like people that knew about what he was doing behind my back. And it does hurt, and it's like, well, why do I look at it? And I probably shouldn't. I think I was just dropped in such an uncertain mindset of what the fuck was happening, and I needed to know what he did to me in order for me to move on, because I couldn't work it out. Good thing is I've had so much support, and so much support from like his friends as well, which is really nice. So the people that, you know, they've got my back, and it's lovely. And loads of different railway stations as well, which is brilliant. Like, I'm apparently something of an icon now, so I fucking love it. And that's not the end of the story, unfortunately. It gets even worse. Great. So it's a few months ago, and I was in my local town on a walk. And I literally see the guy that my ex-boyfriend was cheating on me with. And this guy lives ages away. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Me being me, I decided to follow him, I know. I had messaged him before when I found out about my ex-boyfriend cheating, and he didn't tell me what was going on, so I thought, fuck it. I confronted him in my town, and I was like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, honestly, I didn't. And he basically just said he was sorry, and I let him get away with it. And I walked away. But that did sort of give me some like closure almost, so it's quite nice to be able to do that. I decided to make a TikTok about the story of what happened to me, and it was my first ever viral TikTok, may I say. I think after that I decided to do something funny, so I did a video of me saying something really like shallow and snobby, and people loved it. And I was like, oh, I could do this. I could use that and like portray a character, and that is where Ross the Gossip came from. And it's so funny because people honestly think it's real, and I'm like, honey, no, it's not. It's so fucking fake. I've not got a sugar daddy. I wish I did. I definitely think while I was going through like the breakup process, I put a lot of my energy into that, and it was a massive distraction, and it helped me so much. And it was, it's fun. It's really fun. And no, I didn't really send a card to my ex-boyfriend telling him he's shit in bed. That's not me. I don't go that low. So Ross the Gossip proved to be quite a good success, which I was very pleased about. But at the start of like me making my TikToks, I think I was still really struggling. Like I was really struggling. I am really proud of myself for being able to go through what I did and turning a negative into a positive. If I didn't go through any of that, then TikTok Ross, it wouldn't be here. Ross the Gossip, we wouldn't have him. And, I don't think I'd be as happy as I am today. And hopefully people that follow me will be able to take the fact that I've managed to turn a negative into a positive and perhaps do that themselves when it comes to situations. One of my favourite sayings is, some of the best days of your life, they haven't even happened yet. Like, just think of all of the amazing days you're going to have, some of the best days of your life. Look forward to them, be happy.